Good morning or evening, depending what time you're watching this, and welcome back to the Wilton Report. My name is Josh Wilton. I'm the co-owner of Queenston Realty here in Princeton and the team lead of the Wilton Group, amongst other things. And on this week's episode, we're going to be covering our fall market forecast. So if you want to know what's going to happen in the market in the fall, stay tuned. We're going to do a kind of quick dog days of summer review of what's happening. And we're going to take a look at price reductions. Are they a thing in our market? And how will the market shape up in the fall? Welcome back to the Wilton Report. Again, my name is Josh Wilton. If you have not subscribed to this podcast, please do so. It does help us broaden our reach. And again, if you're feeling highly motivated or you know somebody moving to Princeton, we actually just helped a family who's moving here because their friends shared this podcast with them. Please go ahead and do that. So subscribe and share, or share and subscribe. So the dog days of summer, what does that mean? It means there's not a lot of transaction volume in the market right now. We're in that last couple weeks of August space. It's sort of like Wall Street shares. They are low. However, we're going to cover our forecast for the fall. We're going to do a kind of a quick scan of each market, like how's the pace of the market. We're not going to go into too much micro detail. Obviously, if you ever have questions, you can always text 663-8057. That's 609 exchange. And so the first thing just to remember, we've talked about this a lot in the past on the show, absorption rate. It's a pace of sale. It's overall pace of sales. So how's the market? How fast is the market? Is the market slow? Is it speedy? Is it, whatever? So again, if you look at West Windsor, right now there's 51 active homes for sale in West Windsor. Now, of that 59, several do have offers. They just haven't been marked accordingly. They're very early on in the offer stage. So once a deal comes out, or goes into attorney review, they get marked active with contract or pending. There's 23 active with contract or pending homes in the last 30 days in West Windsor. So what does that mean? It means you have an absorption rate of about 2.21 months in the market in West Windsor. So what does that mean? It means you have a seller's market overall in West Windsor. So anything below 5 months is a seller's market. Anything above 6 months is a buyer's market. So West Windsor, pretty solid seller's market. Interestingly, in West Windsor, 13 homes of the active inventory only took a price cut in the last 30 days. That's not insubstantial, right? That's a decent percentage of the standing inventory. That's not including ones that went under contract that took a price reduction. This is of the 51 homes for sale in West Windsor, 13 reduced their price. And interestingly, 12 sellers decided to increase their price. I don't know if that's such a good idea. We'll talk about why later. But again, 13 sellers reduced, 12 increased, whatever. Pretty interesting, but a little kooky, but interesting. So that's just sort of the quick snapshot for West Windsor. Overall strong seller's market. We just get outbid on a 1.5 something house. We bid 1.6 and change. Didn't get it. Multiple offers. We got beat by cash. So it's a very strong market. The good stuff selling. The bad stuff, not so much. Robbinsville, basically nothing for sale in the entire municipality of Robbinsville. There's 13 active, 23 active with contract and pending only in the last 30 days. There's actually more than that. So there's more under contract than there is active. Closed in the last 30 days, 22. Only three of the 13 actives took a price cut, and the absorption rate is 0.56. So what does that mean? Scintillating seller's market in Robbinsville still. There's just no inventory and low supply, high demand. Prices are going up in Robbinsville. So as a matter of fact, we had somebody who had an interest in the house. I can't say we outgot bid. We bid to our max price. The house just went above it. Cute house, but so Robbinsville, very robust. Montgomery, really basically nothing for sale. 29 actives. In the last 30 days, 18 active with contract and pending. In the last 30 days, 37 closed, so more closing that are for sale. Only 6 of the 29 took a price cut in the last 30 days, and the absorption rate in Montgomery is 1.61 months. So real solid seller's market in Montgomery overall, so no big change there. Princeton, actives 54. Actives, as you know, half of that's above 2 million. I'm going to show you a graphic if you're watching this on YouTube in a second. 21 active with contract in the last 30 days, 33 closed in the last 30 days. 13 of the 54 did reduce their price. in the last 30 days with an absorption rate of 2.57 months. So what does that mean? It means there's a lot of expensive stuff in Princeton, and a lot of it's been for sale for a while. I think 10 of the houses have been for sale since the spring of this year through last year. It's almost 20% of the market. So when you look nationally at homes for sale with a price cut in June, right, you can see the Northeast is lagging. New Jersey is one big splotch of dark. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, less than 15% of the active inventory took a price reduction in New Jersey in June. Whereas if you look at Florida, California, parts of California like the Inland Empire, Texas for sure, a decent number, especially Florida and the Southeast, right, where there is new construction, they're taking price cuts. Why? Because there's available inventory. There's no available inventory in the North. So this is from the Toll Brothers CEO, 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓, right? And this is from June when he spoke at the Bank of America Housing Symposium. He said, through the COVID years, this is a direct quote, the Northeast and the Atlantic all across down through Northern Virginia did not fare well as everybody could go remote and leave. Now, that's sort of insane when you think about and you look at the pricing in New Jersey. So I don't quite know what he's talking about. And so home appreciation through COVID wasn't as much in Boston or Northern Virginia because demand wasn't as strong. Fair. So Boston, Northern Virginia here was insane. He said there's less competition. The big public builders aren't there. There's very little land. So when you get land, it's gold, right? And the resale markets are much tighter. He says, I live on the main line of Philadelphia in the suburb of Philly. There's no inventory here. That's not true in Texas and Florida and other places where you have a lot of big public builders and a lot of land. So there's more supply in Texas and Florida, but in Boston and the Northern Virginia corridor and basically the Northeast, if you look at the maps, it's very supply constrained. And we, Toll Brothers, are doing really well in the Northeast. So what that means is that builders like to build here. There's just no land to build. And that's true of the entire Northeast. So what's going to happen in the fall? So that's sort of your status shot, quick update on the market. Transactionally, it's a pretty slow time of year. Let's talk about what's going to happen for the fall. First, you're going to have a rate cut. There's no question about it. I think it's going to be bigger than we think. I made an internal bet with one of my colleagues that we would see 5.99 on a 30-year fixed. We'll see. I will go back in my defense. If you look at the last 2 years of this podcast, I have called rates pretty correctly. I think I was the only one last year that said rates weren't going down. I said, no, they're probably going to go up. And they did. However, nationally, the president fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics because of the fact that jobs didn't look so good nationally. So he fired that person for reporting at least what we think is accurate data. And then he hired somebody who says jobs are better than you think, which is ironic because he has been pushing for rates to come down. The only way the Fed can ease up on rates, one of the triggers is inflation and employment. So employment is a little bit weak. Inflation is a little bit tame in some aspects, not all. I understand when you go to the grocery store, it stinks. But I think you're going to see a great rate cut of 5.99 or to 5.99 or and change on a 30-year fixed. The ARMs and the 15-year mortgages are already well into the five, so I think it's coming pretty quickly. And then what happens when that magic number gets to 5.99? What happens when a seller sees 5 in front of a rate? I think they're going to put their house on the market. And I think you're going to see inventory jump a little bit in the fall throughout New Jersey. It will be more constrained in towns like Princeton, towns like Montclair, towns like Montgomery, Haddonfield, where there's just really nothing for sale and continues to be nothing for sale. But in the burbs, right, where there is more inventory, I think you're going to see some inventory pick up throughout the state. What does that mean? It means a return to normalcy. So hopefully for buyers, the crazy appreciation, at least in the short term, is over. And we go back to a normal of like 2 to 3% per year appreciation in the core markets. And again, for a seller, condition, location, and price matters. For a buyer, you're going to be making offers that aren't an asking price. We made several. So it's interesting. We made several offers below asking price this week. And at the same time, we were in multiple bidding wars this week for the team, the Wilton Group. So you're seeing both of this. You're seeing this play out real time in the market. So I think there's going to be more of that. I think if you're a buyer and your agent doesn't have a bid strategy, and we always say there's 9 things you need to know to make an effective bid. locally, 8 outside of Princeton, 9 in Princeton. If you don't know those 9 things, you're going to lose to me because I do know them and my buyers are going to beat you. So if you want to know what it is, you can hire us as your agent. So again, return to normalcy for the markets, for buyers and sellers. I think you're going to see some more inventory. When you look at Princeton, just as a snap, right? If you look at the green arrow, and I'm sorry for anybody on Spotify, but the majority of the price reductions in Princeton took place really below 1.6, right? So 1.6, 1.599, 1.3, right? 218 Hamilton, again, it's a single family below $1 million, but it's in a flood zone. Green Home's a condo, which should never been priced above $1 million. Madison Street's a cute little house, no garage, no parking, literally no driveway in town. You have to park in a public lot, which honestly, if you think about it, you're spending $2 million on a townhouse at Palmer Square. This is right there for $999. It's a single family with a backyard. I don't know. It doesn't seem too bad to me. 567 Riverside. What is that? That's an ADU. It's brand new construction, but it's 2 bedrooms. 412 Franklin. It's sort of like a tree fort. It's not a horrible house on the inside. It's just not that great on the outside, if you ask me. This is probably my deal of the week, 1 Markham Road 2C. But you can see the majority of the price reductions in Princeton in the last 30 days took place below $2 million. Jump $2 million and above, there's very few price reductions. I think 4 or 5, and one person, Tony Paul Robeson, raised their price. Bad idea, but whatever. So you can see that in the inventory that's been sitting on the market in the lower price points, the people that don't have $3 million houses probably have a higher motivation to sell, maybe a little less cash reserve, right, to kind of wait this out. When you're above $2 million, there's, I can wait it out. I want my price, all those things. That's fine. That's awesome. However, price reductions are coming to the market. As inventory picks up, we'll see what happens. But that's sort of my prediction. I think rates are going to take a nice drop in the fall. I'm betting on not anyone on this podcast, 5.99 internally. And I think you're going to see some inventory come to the market late this year in the fall as sellers realize that it's quasi more affordable to move than it has been in the past. So that's it for this week's edition of the Wilton Report. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and go ahead and share this with any of your friends and or family who are thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere in Mercer County. Talk to you soon.